Hello, friends. Welcome to Betty's Garden to Table. Today, we are going to make a dish that Grace loves. As I said earlier in my video, if you follow me on Facebook on Betty's Garden to Table, she does not like seafood. So typically when we have any sort of seafood, I have to cook her something different because she does not eat it. All right, so what you guys see here is I have a nonstick pan. You're gonna need a spatula, but this is a pretty quick recipe. So what I typically will do, as you see here, there's about half a tablespoon of olive oil in the pan. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add my veggies first. So for me, that means carrots. That means my garlic. Next, I'm gonna add lots of onions, give it that good flavor. And then I'm going to add my corn. So after adding all of that, you're going to you should have your stove on medium to medium high heat. And one of the things that I'm going to show you is that I typically will season my veggies and then I'll turn around and season it toward the end. So you don't want your stuff to be bland, or you don't want one piece to be super spiced up and then the other parts are not. So what I'll typically do is I will spice up based off of what I need. So here's an example. I'm not going to use all of these spices, but this is the Cajun seasoning. Then I will add the onion powder. I will add the caramelized onion butter. And then I'll add the fresh cracked pepper. So as you can see, there's still some more spices for when I actually add the meat and the rice. So again, I'm gonna let this all cook down. Smells delicious. And make sure that it's cooked really well. You can see the spices are all incorporated. And I am just stirring to make sure that nothing sticks, which it shouldn't because we have some olive oil in there. And I'm just gonna literally stir fry this. Give it some time, let it cook. Make sure your heat is not super high because you don't want to burn your garlic, which that happens a lot. So make sure your heat is on medium low. Now that you have sauteed and spiced your veggies, now you're going to add your meat. So for me, I'm going to add the sausage first, and I'll tell you why I do that. And then I'm going to add the steak last. You don't want your steak to be super tough. My family, especially Steve, loves ribeye. That's his favorite steak. And so what I typically will do is I will add the steak last, so that the steak doesn't get super tough. So this also gives your sausage some time to release some of its juices, to release some of that yumminess, some of the spices that typically are even in sausage. And so again, this also gives your veggies more time to actually cook and cook down. Now earlier you saw that my corn, it wasn't super pretty, but it's getting prettier now because I used the frozen corn. And so it's got some of the juices and it's rumped it up. I typically will take fresh corn and do this, but again, if you're running short on time, ladies, you're working hard, you don't have time for all that, and that's okay. You can actually use frozen corn just as I did here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep cooking this down until your sausage gets nice and brown, releases some of its juices. And you can see here, this is a good example right here of some of the sausage doing what I call sweating and releasing some of that juice, or some of that oil, or some of the spices. So again, you're gonna keep sauteing, getting it nice and tender. And what I typically will do is I'll take a little knife, fork, whatever you have, and then I'll actually test the veggie to see if it's soft. The corn, I think you're good, but sometimes the carrots can be a little tough. So as you can see, couldn't get through that super easy, so I'm gonna cook that a little bit longer. So again, Paying attention to the corn, paying attention to the sausage, making sure the corn is nice and plump, but also making sure that the carrots are nice and tender. Now, let me say this. If you don't have time to sit and wait and saute all this, I have a trick for you. All you have to do is boil your carrots for a few minutes and then saute it. That will take out some of the time that it's taking now to saute them. And then once they're a little al dente, then I would toss them in to start stir frying them. So I think I'm good with this. Let's see. Let's go through this one. Let's see. Gonna do it for me, carrot. I'm gonna go through, gonna slice that carrot. Still a little hard. So we'll cook it down some more. Again, carrot is a root vegetable, so it typically is crunchy, so you have to give it a little bit more time, unlike some of your other veggies. Now, if you use the veggies in a bag, that might be a quicker way also that you can do this, but I don't like peas, and so typically I won't add peas, and I'll just use these. But again, you can add green beans if you like, or whatever veggie you like. So this looks pretty good. The sausage looks, you notice how some of these pieces are starting to curl up. You'll notice that some of the pieces are nice and brown. So now I'm comfortable with adding my steak. So here I have about, let's say probably about 1.5 cups of ribeye steak. And then I'm just gonna add that in. Have all the flavors kind of meld together. Doesn't that look good? Oh, there's a piece of fat here, so we'll take that out. All right, so again, don't want to overcook the steak. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start adding my rice. So as you saw earlier, I had my rice sectioned out in 1/3 cups. I'm gonna add 1/3, 2/3, and that's basically 3/3, which is 1 cup of rice. And let's see how it looks. So again, this is sticky rice. So I'm gonna have to break that up a little bit, but I did that so you could see what you could use so that you don't have too much rice. All right, friends. So as you can see, I've added my rice. Now, I will tell you that we first started out with 1 cup of rice. I added an additional 1/3. So it's 1 1/3 cup of rice. For me, this is the consistency that I want. You notice the meat, you notice the vegetables. It's not just all rice, right? Because what's the point? If you're gonna eat all rice, just get a scoop of rice. All right, so this is 1 1/3 cup of rice that I've added here. And now I'm going to add my soy sauce. And so it's the soy sauce, folks, that actually turns the rice brown, okay? So remember in an earlier video, I told you that I used soy sauce and water because I don't want this to be super salty. So I'm just gonna continue cooking. And if you wanna know from a heat perspective, I actually have this on medium low right now because you don't want your rice to get sticky or stick to the pan. But what I like about this recipe is that, as you can see, the rice has soaked up all the goodness. So all the juice from the steak, all the juice from the veggies, it's all soaked up. So this looks okay, but I think I'm gonna add just a touch more of the soy sauce and water. So I'm gonna add the rest of that. And again, that was 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of water. And I'm just gonna continue to fry, continue to meld. Now, the last step here is, earlier I told you that now is when I would add all my spices. So again, we have the Creole seasoning with no salt. We have the freshly grated black pepper. We have the caramelized onion butter. And last but not least, we have the onion powder. So again, season twice. No bland food, please. All right. So you want to make sure with all your food, you don't just serve people food, you want to test it. You want to taste it. Does it have enough salt? Does it have enough pepper? Does it have all of the things? So as you can see, the rice is nice and brown. There are enough veggies. There's enough meat. And it looks amazing. So let me try it real quick. Get a bite here. Mmm, delicious. So that's pretty much it, my friends. I'm gonna plate this up for you so you can see how amazing it looks. This actually can serve as a meal on its own. Typically when I make this, we'll have fried rice and then we'll have salad or we'll have some sort of veggie. Um, or if you want to really go out, you can do egg rolls, you can make orange chicken with the fried rice, but this is a meal on its own that can stand alone. Look at that. Amazingly delicious. Make sure we get all of that meat, all of those veggies. This is a hearty, hearty meal that I guarantee your family will enjoy. And there you have it. Steak and beef sausage, fried rice. Thanks for joining, friends. I'll see you soon.